Hello everybody and welcome back to the greatest Sims 4 channel you have ever come across in your entire life. Who am I, you might be wondering? I am Pink Plum Bob, and today I am bringing you a brand new speed build built on a 64 by 64 lot in the island of Windenburg. And I'm very excited to share this lot with everybody because this is my first actual completed 64 by 64 lot. I've always struggled with them. I've always found the space is too big. I never know what to put in the rooms, even if I've built it, and I don't know. But this one, I am actually very, very pleased with. It is inspired, I'd say it's like an English estate home, I'd say. It's very, I wouldn't say it's like American or anything like that. I'd say it's definitely more English. You know, this is the kind of thing you'd see in the UK. And I'm really, really pleased that I've actually managed to complete it. The exterior of this home, it didn't take me too long to build actually. I got some inspiration from Pinterest, which is always a good place to start, especially for massive houses, because I never know how I'm going to shape the house until I actually get there and I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. I've got a bit of a builder's block. And so I got inspiration from Pinterest, and I got loads of different pictures, and I kind of put them all together and built this home that I've built here. Now this is Oak Lodge Estate. There is a main house and there is a guest house. In the main house there are three bathrooms and 6 bedrooms. I made enough bedrooms so that you can have a butler, because I feel like this is the sort of house you would need a butler to, you know, do all your cooking and stuff like that. It's too big for a normal, wow. For the richer Sims, they don't do cooking, they don't do cleaning, so that's where the butler comes in. So there is a room for the butler, and there is also a guest house which I built out the back, and this is just got 1 bedroom and 1 bathroom. I thought this sort of house, it needs a guest house, just because you can, because they're rich Sims, because that's what they do. And this house is now on the gallery under my hashtag emmapp, and it comes in at around about 630,000 Somalian, so it's quite pricey, but it's one of those houses that you strive to achieve in your Sims careers. And to be honest, if your Sims already got a good job, it won't take too long. Just keep saving and they'll get the house. And there's also 2 traits I put with it. So the first trait that I selected for this build is the Bracing Breezes trait. And the reason why I picked this trait is because you're on the island of Windenburg. It's going to be a bit windy with all the ocean air and stuff like that. So they're going to get a lot of, I'd say definitely more wind, more so, I guess, Windenburg, windy. It's going to be more windy on an island than it is, you know, on proper land. So the description for this is oodles of fresh air make for a bracing environment to exercise. And what happens with that is that you get a 50% boost to athletic and wellness skill gains. So that's quite handy, because I have put a gym within the mansion. The other trait that I added to this lot is the peace and quiet trait, and the reason why I chose this trait was because being on an island, there's not going to be many neighbours to disturb you. I mean, I know that you have got some neighbours around on that island, but you're not going to get that disturbed. And this is also good for increasing skill gains when you're reading book skills, and it increases the speed of reading all books. And I just thought it was a really nice trait to add to this lot. Like, I can imagine them sitting out in the garden with a nice book. So, and there's plenty of bookcases in this house because I never know what to put in the empty spaces. So bookcase and plants are my go-to items. As you can see, the exterior is pretty much coming together now. The shape pretty much stays like that. I don't add much difference to it, so it's all down to colouring it and making it look pretty. And I kind of went for those kind of Tudor style, how do I explain it now? It's like concrete, but they've got wood panels through them. You'll see what I mean when I start doing it. But I had a lot of fun with this build. Like, I always find building on such large lots quite tedious, and I did have to keep coming back to this one and doing it in little sections, because I got a little bit not bored, but it is tedious. Like, I did so much, and then I thought, oh, the gardening's a bit tedious now. And I did do the gardening kind of backwards. I did the front of the garden, but because I find it's so tedious after a while, I do get excited and go into the inside then. So you might see some sneak peeks of the interior in a short while. But that's how I've always kind of done it. I've always saved the back garden till last. And you'll probably find that with a lot more of my builds in the future as well. And I built like that on that little section on the back there. That's kind of like a little conservatory sort of party room. I do add a glass roof in the middle of it. It's not a complete conservatory. But yeah, overall, I'm really pleased with the way this turned out. I think it looks quite classy. And in terms of the interior, I made it quite, not ultra modern. I kind of made it like they've been living there a few years. And they've got like a little bit of old-fashioned taste. They're not the most up-to-date, but there's plenty of stuff for them to be doing in this house. Well, it's not like I haven't had space. I've got plenty of space. So they can do whatever they want to do. Now, in terms of the Sims I had in mind for this home, I envisioned very rich parents. They've obviously, maybe a bit older, maybe they could be elderly nearly, or maybe on like the last kind of steps of their adult Sim life. And I envision them having a teenage girl, a teenage boy, a child boy Sim, and also a baby girl. I built a little cute nursery for a baby girl, and I never do nursery, so I thought I'll build a nursery for this one. So there is a range of aged kids and people and whatnot. And then there's also the butler's room, which I built, but that can wait until the next video because I've had to split this one in half because you'd hear me ramble on for a good 70 minutes about this build. So I'm doing the exterior today, and then hopefully if I get it edited and voiceover in time, you might get it on the same day. So you might get 2 fantastic world-class videos in one day. How lucky are you? You are very lucky. I know. I know how to treat you all well. So here you can see me sort of looking at trying to figure out how to do the little courtyard in the middle. I really like little courtyards in places like this. I think it's really sweet. My best friend, years and years ago, we're talking, probably back when I was like 12 or something silly like that, she took me to her uncle's house, and her uncle had like a big house, not as big as this, but it's a very large, well-off house, and it had a courtyard in the middle. And it was really lovely. And I remember I tried to build a courtyard house years ago in like Sims 2 and stuff like that, but it just wasn't working for some reason. And then I kind of thought, you know what, we could do a courtyard in this house. This is the right sort of house for it. And I made it very pretty, full of lots of flowers, stuff like that. I wanted it to look very green on the inside, lots of life. And also to let you know, the gardens are very well manicured on this place. The gardens are well looked after. I mean, I imagine they'd have a gardener. It's a shame. Do we have gardeners? Can we employ gardeners? I don't even know. I need to check that, actually. All this time I've been playing this game, and I don't know if you can get gardeners. But I know they've missed a lot of stuff out in Sims 4. I mean, I really like emergency services back, like, when there's a fire, the fire engine would come. And same with, like, getting arrested and stuff. Like, what I used to love back in The Sims 2 was when your kid sort of snuck out after curfew, and then the police would bring them home after a while. I used to love that. I used to think that's so good, and then you used to get told off by their parents. So there's lots of features missing. I don't know why they've simplified it so much, because it's that Sims 2 I think was probably the best out of everything because of everything that they had. I mean, yeah, the building and buy mode wasn't the best, and neither was like the creator sim, but the features made up for it. But we didn't know any different at the time. We just kind of did it. And here I am putting some little planter boxes on the windows, and I went for a yellow and white kind of themed flower thing. Colour scheme. That's the word I'm looking for, colour scheme. So I kind of stuck with that. And I do add, when I am doing the courtyard, you'll see in a bit, I do add like a couple of rose bushes and stuff like that, because I never add rose bushes. And here I am just figuring out the courtyard. Now, I originally did put a door in, but I think, oh yeah, I've deleted it there. You can see I've deleted it. Going out into the courtyard, but I quite like just having the big front door, and then they just go up to the front door without having to go anywhere else. And then here I am working out the perfectly manicured garden. Now I saw this picture on Pinterest, and it was like a very grand entrance up to this house. I'm pretty sure it would have been an English house. And they had all of these really tall trees like going up the middle as you walked in. And I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to put that on my build. Because I always I don't know, I never know what to do for landscaping, so I look up that. And I just need a bit of help in terms of landscaping, but I know eventually I'll kind of get the gist of doing my own thing. Like, there's a builder at the minute, and she's probably my favourite Sims 4 builder. Her name's Sim Kim, and her landscaping is beautiful. She does amazing landscaping. I don't know if she uses Pinterest or what, but whatever she does, it just looks amazing, and she loves doing landscaping, where I'm kind of more of an interior kind of girl. But, so, maybe I'll have to ask her if she'll do a collab with me when I get a bit more attention on this old beautiful channel, which is my own. So yeah, so Sim Kim, check her out. Maybe I'll link her in the description if I remember. If I don't, just type in Sim Kim into YouTube, and her builds are stunning. Right, so this is mainly at the moment just kind of landscaping. It's nothing that exciting. I wanted it to look really pretty. I do add 2 ponds like parallel to each other, and they look pretty much exactly the same. I wanted it to look kind of perfect, like they've been figuring out how to do this for a long time and stuff like that. So, and I do add a couple of like little fountains that kind of go around that middle bit. That's the fountains there. Sorry, I'm a bit gassy today for some reason. So yeah. And a bit more about me. I've got to build a shed in a bit, because I ordered a shed because I haven't got a spare, well, I have got a spare room, but I would like to turn that into an office space so I can do more stuff like this. Because at the minute I'm just sort of sitting on the sofa, and I'm literally resting my laptop and my speaker, not my speaker, my microphone on a stool, and that's like my little office at the minute. And it's not great for my back and stuff. Like, I want to have proper posture while I'm doing stuff like this, because my back does ache after a bit. So I've cleared the spare room. I need to get rid of the fridge, the freezer, and the round table and chairs that I've got from my last house that I lived in. I need to get rid of those, and then what I'm going to do with the money is I'm going to invest it and buy myself a desk and buy myself a proper gaming chair. I really, really want a gaming chair. I'm so excited. I mean, there's this girl called Carmen King, and she is like my favourite YouTuber at the moment. She's so funny, and her chair looks insane, and I would love a chair just like hers. So hopefully one day when I get a bit more money put together, I will do that. But in a bit, I'm building a shed, but it's absolutely tipping it down here. It's been a miserable week. I've booked the week off work, so I can just get some stuff done, potter around the house and stuff like that. But it's been absolutely miserable all week. Good old English weather, but never mind. It is, you know, winter is coming at the end of the day. But here I am. Here are the pond, well, a pond. And I'm just doing a little bit of greenery in the pond. I like using those, like, I don't know what you call them, like, not moss. Oh, I don't know. Like, I wanted to say gangrene, but that's that thing you get when your, like, skin's practically dying. So, no, that's not the right thing to use. We'll move on. And I wanted to create these little, like, flower boxes, like, perfectly in line, and have lots of little, like, flowers and trees and stuff in them. So, yeah, that's about it at the minute. It's nothing crazy exciting. The exciting stuff kind of happens at the back of the house. That's when I start to build the swimming pool. Oh, and I do build a, like, little log cabin thing, and there is an open fire in there. I thought that was a nice idea. I don't know where I got that from. I don't know if subconsciously I've taken it from somebody else. But I build this, like, little hexagonal... Is it hexagonal or octagonal? One of them. Octagonal, I'd say, actually. A little octagonal little hut thing, and then I put an open fire in it. And I thought that was really nice. And it reminded me of a spa I've been to before, where they kind of have, like... It's not an open fire, but it's like they've got, like, some coals heating up in the room, and then, like, these herbs kind of spill down on top of them, and then they hit the coals, and then the coals kind of let off the scent that the herbs have been, like, spilt onto. That makes sense. I know I'm probably just waffling on a little bit, but hey ho. In other news, I am actually building another 64x64 lot at the moment as we speak. It is going to be a, like, log cabin, autumny, wintry lodge thing. I used a lot of brown tones, a lot of brown textures. And I've never done a style of lot like it. And so I thought, once again, I'll go out of my comfort zone and I would try something different. And I tell you what, I am loving the way it is turning out. So I'm really chuffed with that. And here I am now. I believe in a second I will start doing the lawn. I didn't film myself doing all of the striped lawns because I thought it would be a little bit boring just to see me doing stripy lawns. So I'm pretty sure I just do the one or maybe two. So yeah, and I wanted to try and get the lines as straight as I possibly could. And what I ended up, because it was taking me blooming ages to do it, what I did in the end, I kind of like kept my mouse in one place and just used my arrow keys to go up and down the lines. And it seemed to work really well, actually. It was a good little, not tip. Well, it is for people out there that want to know how to do it better and more in line. That's what I did. So yeah, here I go. I'll start off by doing this, where I'm like just dotting it down. And then in a moment you'll see I press the T on the keyboard, which means it's like a bird's eye view. There we go, up we go. And then in a moment I do keep my mouse in one place and I literally just use the arrow keys and go up and down the stripes. Maybe I don't do it on this lawn actually, or maybe I don't. Here we go, here we go. This is where the magic happens. Beautiful. No dodgy lines, perfectly manicured lawn. So there's a lawn, pretty much done. And I put a cute little fountain there. And then I cut off this section here. I thought they've got the one section around the side where they can get into the back garden. And then I just cut this little section off here. And I just put a few benches around and stuff like that. Delete this flower box because I decided I don't need it. And there's like, I like the little path that goes all the way around. And you know what I realised as well, halfway through this build, is that there is a floor tile exactly like that stony one I've been putting down. So I could have saved myself a lot of time and effort by actually using the floor tile than terrain painting everything. And I do this, do I use the arrow keys on this? A little bit, not much. It's only a small lawn anyway. But yeah, I believe, how many lawns are there in total? I think that there is a total of 4 lawns. So that's a lot of manicuring. I imagine that these people would get a pair of scissors out and manicure their garden with like a pair of nail scissors, the really small ones that you can get. Yeah, there's the lawn done, and moving on. And I thought, shall I add some bits and pieces? But I thought, no, let's keep it simple, let's keep it clean. Let's make it as if less is more in a sense. So I'm just plopping a few benches around, and then all I put is a little fountain on this lawn. And maybe that was even too much. Maybe that was too much for them. And I've worked out what I'm going to do with the courtyard. Now this is my favourite part of the entire house. I love this part of the house. I would love to live in a house like this, where there is a courtyard in the middle with lots of plants, lots of greenery. And there are a few unruly plants in this bit. I wanted it to look more natural, not so manicured like the rest of the garden. This is kind of like a little secret garden, we'll just call it that. And here I am just using yellow and white plants, and there's a couple of rose bushes in there as well. But this, I love this, and I put all vines all over the walls and stuff like that. So I'm really pleased with how this turned out. This turned out pretty much exactly how I wanted it to. Like, I couldn't have asked for it to go any better. And I don't think I could have improved it any more so than I could have done it already. So here is that. And I enlarged those daffodils. I didn't realise they were daffodils because they're so small in the game. So all I did was I enlarged them, and I was like, oh, they're daffodils. Fantastic. I didn't realise we had the daffodils. So I used those. Lots of sunflowers. It's very happy, happy, happy. Warm home. I wanted it to be kind of cosy, even though it's ginormous, and yeah. So here's the vines I'm doing. I kind of do up all of those posts as well, which go up the house. I wanted it to really, like it's been growing there for many years. And I think it adds a bit of personality to the house as well. And I wanted to put some greenery there, where for some reason there was a bit of like the edge missing around that pole. So I added greenery to kind of make up for it. Because there are some like glitches in The Sims where when you're trying to like add trim around the walls and stuff like that, it doesn't seem to work on all the time. So yeah, so here is just the vines, as I've said a million times. I need to stop waffling. And I do put a bench in here as well, and I believe I put a little bird box as well, because I think bird boxes are cute. I ought to get a bird box for my garden, but I don't. But I have got a massive tree outside my house, and the pigeons like to sit on that, and my cats look out the window like, what is that? I'm just going to leave you guys to it for a moment, because this is all kind of like the boring bits now. And what I'll do is I'll talk about stuff when the exciting stuff happens. So literally it is just finishing off the centre of the courtyard, and it's just more flowery bits and pieces, more landscaping. So I'll come back to you in a mo. So we are back, and this is where the more interesting parts of the exterior kind of gets more exciting, I guess, more entertaining. So here I am, I'm building the fire pit room, And what I do on the interior, you'll see, I basically make those little half walls and I raise the fire pit. I believe it's from Outdoor Retreats. That's just a guess. And I raise it up and then I put like some counters underneath it so it looks like a filled gap. But here we are in the interior, and I just go for a plain white wall with like stone flooring, and then I wanted to kind of match the flooring and go for stone walls as well. So here I am just figuring it out, but it's quite big, to be honest. It takes up a lot of room, but then I realised, oh, I can cut that down. So what I do is I kind of do it diagonally instead. That just reminded me of saying diagonally from Harry Potter. Oh, hilarious. Anyway, moving on. So I'm just deleting that, and as you can see, I've raised it. Gosh, I'm such a boring voiceover person. I need to get a bit more pizzazz. And while I'm waiting for this to get more exciting, I've just made myself a pot noodle, and I'm going to have that. Right, I used wooden beams, and they kind of set it off a little bit, and then I used these spa day benches to put around, because I thought it'd be nice if everybody could sit in there together, get cozy in the winter with some couple of drinks, maybe a nice hot chocolate, and sit and enjoy the fire. I thought it was a really nice little hangout spot. And I just fill these gaps with, I wanted the benches to kind of look built in to the wall. So I added those half walls, and then I just stuffed loads of rocks in there to fill the gap a little bit. And then I put these like fake windows all around, which you can see now. And then I just join up the path, add a chimney. I join up the path from that lawn. And then, yeah, and I like the little lawn I did there. I got that from Pinterest once again. I need to get some more inspo from other places. But Pinterest is just the best for everything. So yeah, it's just a little bit more landscaping now, and I just use the bushes. I was going to use like a perfectly square garden all the way round, but I don't know, square's boring, so I cut off little sections, like as you can see there, to fit it to the build better. And then I just add more archways. And in that section on the left, that's where there is a little gardening patch. I can't find the footage for it. I don't know if I accidentally forgot to record it or what. But it's not a massive game changer of a section of garden, you know. It's just, there's a gardening patch there where they can build their gardening skill. And I believe I might have put a floristry table there or a woodworking bench. I can't remember for the life of me. But the footage might be in with my interior footage files. So if it's there, I will include it in the interior footage. But it's not by not showing it, it's not gonna change your life. You'll see it in the screenshots, so you won't miss out on what I did in that little section of garden. I wanted to make the most of every piece of land in the garden. So yeah. So now we're moving on to my favourite part of the garden. I know I think I've just said that the hut is my favourite part of the garden. This is probably the best swimming pool I've ever done. It's very simple. Sometimes simple is the best. And I create like a little half wall at the back. And then I kind of make my own gazebo type building thing over the hot tub so they can get a little bit of shade. Not much shade because it's literally just like lines. But I like the way the lighting comes down through the lines. So you'll see that in a moment. I am such a because I recorded this last section of this voiceover. Wow, I didn't even press the record button, so that's my bad. Sorry about that. So here we are, back to the swimming pool. And here I created a little half wall, and here I shall put in some greenery to make it look nice. And you will see me in a second create the mini gazebo thingy, my bobby, my jingling. And all I do here is I create 4 little square like columns with the wool tool, and I just basically I get some like floor wall trim thing, that's it, whatever that thing is there, and I delete it all, and then voila, you have yourself a cute gazebo. And what I like about this is this lot is perfect for the lighting. I mean, look at that light shining across that hot tub. That is beautiful. So I just add some trim, nothing too crazy. And then what I did, I raised up some potted plants, which are like, I'd say they're definitely more outdoor potted plants rather than indoor potted plants, but you could do whatever you want. This is The Sims. You have free reign to go crazy. Like, look how crazy I am. I've made a crazy swimming pool and a crazy diving board. Anyway, moving on. So I'm just lining it here, and in that little gap there is a barbecue area, and I put some like modern furniture there. It's more modern compared to the interior. Like, the interior is a lot more, what's the word now? Well, it's just not as modern, alright? It's like, Anyway, here's the guest house. The guest house is very simple. This could have been like an outhouse back in its day, like, but I thought, in my imagination, this house is like, it's an extension. It's a newly built thing, and I was thinking about doing it with the matching walls, but I decided to just keep it simple, keep it all white with a little bit of the brick trim. And I also add some lovely large windows on the side of the house as well, and I thought it'd be nice for your Sims so they can have a sneak peek around the garden, see who's in the hot tub, because you never know, your teenage daughter might be in there with some boys up to no good, and you can go and be like, hey, get away from my daughter, or whatever. Yeah. And I thought it'd be really nice to look over the garden, and I thought it'd be lovely to look over the swimming pool. Now I add a bathroom in the basement, and I don't film it because, like I said earlier, bathrooms are boring. And I did try to delete like the floor underneath, so it was like a large banister area, but it wasn't letting me do it, so I thought, oh, screw it, I'll keep it simple. And that little nook there on the left hand side, it actually comes in quite handy. So I go for like a white and green theme in this room. Like, the bed I chose, I think, matched perfectly. And I thought, oh, I could have it facing the hot tub. I thought, no, give them a bit more privacy. And I used those Seasons side tables, and I also used the Seasons dresser. I keep trying to say dressing table, it's dresser. And I do add like a little seating area as well, just to keep it, you know, you'd want a nice, you know, you don't want to watch the telly what they're watching. If you're a guest, you want to watch your own telly. If you want to stick on whatever, cartoons, porn, whatever you want to watch, do it. So I had a little seating area. And I also add the book, well, you've just seen me put the bookcase down, but I moved the bookcase in a short while. And the bathroom, I'll describe the bathroom to you. The bathroom downstairs is a like minty green colour scheme, and it's the tiles I used from Spa Day. So if you know the sort of tiles I'm on about, you'll know what I mean. I don't think I take screenshots of this little guest house at the end. I think I might include that in the interior, but you've seen me film this, so this is like a sneak peek of like a little bit of interior. So this is the most fun it gets at the moment, and I just want it to look really green and kind of eco-friendly. I don't know. I don't clutter it too much because it's a guest house as well. Like, you wouldn't have all your makeup and stuff there. You're a guest, like, so that's just the way it is. And here I am, just doing a little bit more landscaping, nothing too crazy, and I'm just, I make a little bit of like an overgrown planty area. I'm sorry, my terminology is really bad. Like, whenever I do these voiceovers, I can't think of the correct terminology for anything, so I just call everything a thingy or a you know what I mean. So my apologies for that. And here I'm just doing another lawn. I know I said I only filmed 2 of them, but it turns out I filmed 4. But yeah, so that's about it for that section. And here's like the little overgrown section that I do as well. It's not overgrown, it's just more natural looking. It's not been perfectly manicured like the rest of the house. So yeah, it's kind of cute. And then I do put outdoor lights on all the way around the build. I don't bother putting that in the footage because it's unnecessary to see that, just me putting some lights around. And plus the fact this video is long enough as it is, so I wanted to time down. But here I decided I wanted to do the lawn area, and I thought I'll do another lawn, and then I thought no, I'm going to add a barbecue. So then I add a barbecue in a second, which you'll see. And I believe that they're from, oh, I can't remember what the pack is. I want to say Cool Kitchen, but it's definitely not Cool Kitchen. It's one of the outdoorsy ones. And I really like this little area. It's just cute and simple. It's very modern compared to the rest of it, which I've already said, but I'm going to say it again. And to be honest, guys, that is pretty much it for the build. That's it. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to find this build on the gallery, please use the hashtag emmapp. And also, if you can't find that, my username, which I've had for years and years and years and years, I can't change it unless somebody knows how to. My origin ID is emmatheblonde. It's all one word, so you can guess what colour hair I've got. Yeah. So, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it for watching this. It's a pleasure doing these videos, actually. And once again, you know you've stopped by the greatest YouTube channel you've ever seen in your life. So, here are the screenshots. Enjoy, download, and I will see everybody who decides to watch this in the next video. So thanks guys, bye!